In the distant future, humans had traveled far from Earth. They were new to the stars and still learning about other alien worlds. The galaxy was full of many different species. Some were old and powerful, with great cities and strange powers. Humans were young and unknown. They were seen as weak, simple, and sometimes even funny. But Leo Marzin did not care what others thought. He was only 17 years old, the youngest trainee in the Galactic Peace Academy. His job was to learn how to be a peacekeeper, someone who helped planets talk instead of fight. Leo was excited and nervous. Soon he would attend the Celestial Summit. It was a great meeting where leaders and royal families from many planets came together. The Celestial Summit was happening on a beautiful planet called Giraloon. This world was famous for its glowing gardens, floating cities, and calm blue skies. The air smelled sweet like flowers, and soft music filled the streets. The people of Giraloon, called the Lysari, were tall and graceful. Their skin shone faintly, with colors like the stars, and they had long flowing hair that seemed to float even when there was no wind. They were known for their wisdom and their psychic abilities. They could feel the thoughts and emotions of others. When Leo and the other humans landed on Giraloon, many aliens watched with curious eyes. Some smiled politely, others whispered quietly. How the humans looked out of place in their simple clothes and small ships. The Lysari dressed in elegant robes that shimmered like the night sky. They walked slowly and carefully, as if every step was part of a dance. Leo's heart beat fast. He had trained for years for this moment, but he still felt small and unsure. Among the crowd of royal guests and warriors, he searched for someone important. Then suddenly all eyes turned to one person. Princess Ilyara of the Lysari stood at the center of the great hall. She was young but already powerful. Her eyes shone bright like stars, and her presence was calm but strong. Everyone waited for her to speak. To everyone's surprise, she did not look at the tallest or strongest warriors. Instead, her gaze landed on Leo. She stepped forward and, with a quiet voice that echoed through the hall, said, "This is the one. I choose him." The room fell silent. Shock and confusion spread like wildfire. No one expected the princess to choose a young human boy, the youngest and least experienced among all the warriors. Some guests whispered in disbelief. Others looked at Leo with doubt. Leo's mind raced. He did not understand. Why would the princess pick him? He was just a trainee. He had not won any battles or proven himself in any grand way. But Princess Ilyara's eyes were full of certainty. She smiled gently and said, "I feel a rare spark in him. It is courage and kindness, something I have not seen in many." The leaders of the Galactic Peace Alliance were unsure how to react. The Lysari elders whispered among themselves. The other alien warriors shifted nervously. The ancient tradition said that such a choice must be tested and proven. Suddenly, a loud voice came from the High Council. If this human is to be chosen, he must prove himself in truth and honor, not by strength or war. The council proposed a series of trials, but not with weapons. Instead, tests of wisdom, compassion, and leadership. Leo looked at Ilyara, feeling both nervous and hopeful. The princess nodded at him. "I believe in you." Over the next days, Ilyara spent time with Leo. She showed him the secret gardens where dreams bloomed like flowers. They walked under glowing trees and talked about Earth, family, and the future. Leo was surprised by how kind and open Ilyara was. She did not see him as weak. Instead, she saw his heart and his hope. The other aliens watched closely. Many began to wonder if humans were different from what they had believed. Finally, the time came for Leo's biggest test. He would lead a peace mission to a planet where two alien tribes had stopped talking for 80 years. No one else could reach them. If Leo succeeded, it would prove that the human way with kindness and courage could change the galaxy. As Leo prepared to leave, Princess Ilyara stood before him. "Remember, Leo, it is not strength but truth that will guide you." Leo took a deep breath and stepped onto his ship. His journey was just beginning, with it the chance to show the galaxy that even the youngest human warrior could shine like a star. The stars sparkled outside the small window of Leo Marcin's ship as it sailed through space toward the silent world. Leo stared out, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. This mission was his chance to prove himself not with weapons or battle, but with the true power of peace. On Giraloon, Princess Ilyara watched the ship leave the floating city. Her face was calm but thoughtful. She had made a choice that shocked many, but she felt deep inside it was right. Leo was different. He had a spark no one else had seen before, back in the Great Hall of the Galactic Peace Alliance. The other alien leaders whispered among themselves. Many were unsure what to think. The Lasari elders had accepted the princess's decision, but some nobles were angry. How can a human, so young and untested, represent us? Asked one tall alien with blue skin and silver eyes. Humans are simple, said another, her voice cold. They do not understand our ways or our strength. A third spoke more quietly. Perhaps we judge too soon. The princess sees something we do not. Meanwhile, Leo prepared for his mission. He was alone, but not truly alone. Princess Ilyara had given him a small device that allowed them to share thoughts and feelings. It was a way to stay connected across the vast distance of space. Leo touched the device and felt a calm voice inside his mind. Remember, Leo? Ilyara said. Listen more than you speak. The heart speaks louder than words. Leo nodded, though she could not see him. He was not sure if he was ready, but he knew he had to try. The planet below was covered in rocky mountains and deep forests. 2 tribes lived there, the Varen and the Kylari. They had stopped talking for 80 years after a disagreement over the use of a sacred river. No one had been able to bring peace between them. When Leo landed, the silence was heavy. He walked through the villages, watching the people. They looked tired and sad. They avoided each other's eyes. Instead of commanding or arguing, Leo did something unexpected. He sat by a fire and began to tell stories from Earth. He told them about children who played games and laughed. He shared songs and simple lessons about hope and friendship. At first, the tribes watched him with suspicion, but slowly their faces softened. They remembered times when they had shared stories and songs. They began to smile, and some joined in the games Leo taught. Days passed, and the ice between the tribes started to melt. Leo did not use power or force. He used something new: human kindness and patience. Back on Giraloon, Princess Ilyara sensed the change. She felt the joy and hope growing across the stars. She shared this feeling with the council, but many were still doubtful. His methods are strange, one elder said, but perhaps they work. Leo's success began to change minds. Not all humans were weak or simple. Some had a strength that came from their hearts. When Leo returned to Giraloon, the council gathered once more. This time they did not speak of battles or weapons. They spoke of courage, truth, and peace. The Grand Council spoke loudly. Leo, Marzin, you have done what others could not. You have brought hope where there was only silence. Now you must make your choice. The Princess Ilyara's claim. Leo looked at Ilyara, standing beside the council with a gentle smile. He thought about the journey, the stories, and the hope he had found. He thought about Earth, his family, and the future he dreamed of. The room waited for his answer. The youngest human warrior had been chosen. The choice was his. Leo Marzin stood in the Grand Hall of Giraloon, facing the eyes of the Galactic Peace Alliance. The air was thick with silence and expectation. Every alien in the room watched him closely. Some still doubted a human could hold such honor, while others were quietly curious. But Leo was not thinking about their eyes. His thoughts were with the mission he had just completed. The silent planet with the 2 tribes, who had not spoken for 80 years. He remembered the cold mornings, the quiet villages, and the faces that slowly began to smile again. The mission was not easy. The Varen and the Kylari tribes had built walls of silence around their hearts. Neither side trusted the other. The river between their lands was more than water. It was a symbol of old promises broken and deep hurt. Leo had no weapons, no soldiers. He had only his words and his heart. He began by sitting with the elders of both tribes. He listened carefully as they spoke, or sometimes as they refused to speak. He learned their stories, their fears, and their hopes. One evening, near the sacred river, Leo told a story from Earth about a bridge made not of stone, but of kindness. When two sides build together, he said, the river flows free, and life grows strong. The tribes looked at each other quietly. No one spoke, but the old walls seemed to crack. Slowly, Leo taught them Earth games, simple songs that children sang to heal pain and build friendship. He invited both tribes to play, laugh, and share. The tribes began to meet at the river again, their silence breaking into soft words and smiles. Days turned into weeks. Leo's human way of patience, kindness, and hope brought new life. To the old wounds, back on Giraloon, Princess Ilyara felt the change from afar. She closed her eyes and sent a gentle thought to Leo. You carry the light of your people. Young warrior. News of Leo's success spread through the Galactic Peace Alliance. The leaders who had doubted began to watch humans with new eyes. Perhaps humans were more than simple creatures. Perhaps they held a rare power, the power of spirit. When Leo returned, the council was ready. They did not ask for strength or weapons. Instead, they asked for stories, stories of peace, courage, and understanding. Leo shared the lessons he had learned. He spoke of listening before speaking, of building bridges with words and actions, not with force. The council listened. Slowly, their faces softened. They saw the truth in Leo's words. Princess Ilyara stepped forward. Her eyes shone bright. Leo has shown us what I felt in my heart. He is not just a warrior of strength, but a warrior of spirit. The other leaders nodded. The ancient walls of prejudice began to fall. But the most important moment was yet to come. The Grand Council gave Leo a choice, to accept the princess's claim or to walk away. Leo looked at Ilyara. She smiled, not as a princess, but as a friend. He thought about Earth, his family, his dreams, and the long journey ahead. Then, in a quiet voice filled with hope, Leo spoke. I accept. A wave of surprise and joy swept through the hall. Youngest human warrior had chosen his path. The alien princess had made her choice clear, and now Leo had claimed his future. The great hall was quiet except for the soft footsteps of Leo Marzin. He stood before the Grand Council and the many aliens who had gathered to see his answer. The eyes of the galaxy were upon him, not just the leaders, but the people watching. Through their screens, across many planets, Leo felt the weight of the moment. He was young and still learning, yet the choice he was about to make would change his life and maybe the lives of many others. Princess Ilyara stood beside him, her face calm but full of hope. She removed her royal mark, a shining emblem on her wrist that showed her status, and held it out to Leo. I do not ask you to take my name or title because I am a princess, she said softly. I ask because I see truth in you. You are not the strongest warrior, but you are the truest. Leo looked at the glowing emblem in his hand. It felt warm, like a promise. He thought about Earth, the planet where he was born, the place where people dreamed of peace and adventure, even when the world was hard. He thought about his family, his mother who believed in him, his father who taught him to be brave, and his little sister who waited for stories of the stars. He thought about the mission on the silent planet, how listening and kindness had opened hearts, and he thought about Princess Ilyara, not just as a royal figure, but as a person who had trusted him when no one else did. Leo took a deep breath and faced the council. I am not a great warrior, he said. I am still learning. But I believe in the future we can build together. I accept your claim, Princess Ilyara. A quiet murmur spread through the hall. Some leaders looked surprised, others smiled with respect. Ilyara took Leo's hand and smiled. Together, we will build bridges between our worlds. The Grand Council then spoke. Your choice is brave, Leo Marzin. You show us that courage is not just strength, but truth. Leo's acceptance was more than a personal decision. It was a symbol. A message to the galaxy that humans could be more than they seemed. They had spirit, hope, and a way to unite others. The day was not for battles or power, but for new beginnings. As the ceremony continued, Leo and Iliara walked through the glowing gardens of Giralun. The soft light from the floating flowers lit their path. Iliara turned to Leo. "You surprised many," she said with a smile. "But you reminded us all why we must never judge too quickly." Leo smiled back. "We gave me a chance to believe. In myself." They spoke of dreams and futures, of peace and friendship between their people. In the days that followed, Leo began training with the Lysari. He learned their customs, their language, and their ways of seeing the world. But he also shared stories of Earth, of music, art, and laughter. The Lysari listened with wonder. The other alien leaders, once doubtful, began to visit Leo and Iliara. They wanted to understand how a young human could change so much. Leo's journey was only beginning, but already he had opened a new path. A path where differences could be celebrated and hope could grow. The great city of Giralun shone under twin moons as Leo Marzan and Princess Iliara prepared for the ceremony. It was not a wedding, as many expected, but a celebration of choice and new beginnings, a bond of friendship and hope between their two worlds. The streets were filled with people from many species. Some came out of curiosity, others to honor the brave young human who had changed their galaxy. Leo stood beside Iliara, feeling a calm strength inside. He wore a simple robe of Lysari design, its soft fabric shimmering gently under the lights. Ceremony began in the Grand Plaza, where glowing flowers floated in the air like stars. The Grand Council spoke words of unity and respect, honoring the courage it took for Leo to accept Iliara's claim, but Leo knew the real work was only beginning. He would live among the Lysari, learning their ancient ways while sharing the stories. In Spirit of Earth, he would become an ambassador, a bridge between two worlds. As the ceremony ended, Iliara took Leo's hand. "This is not the end, Leo," she said softly. "It is the beginning of a journey for us, and for all who believe in peace." Leo nodded. "Together we will show the galaxy that strength is not just power, but heart." News of the ceremony spread quickly through the stars. Other planets sent messages of congratulations and hope. Invitations arrived for humans to join other councils and gatherings. Leo's choice had opened doors not just for himself, but for all of Earth. In the weeks that followed, Leo explored the dream gardens with Iliara. They walked under glowing trees and talked of their worlds. They laughed, learned, grew closer. But Leo never forgot the lessons of his mission, that listening and kindness could heal even the deepest wounds. One day, as they sat by the river in Giralun's floating gardens, Leo looked at Iliara. "You think the galaxy will ever be truly peaceful?" he asked. Iliara smiled gently. "Peace is not a place, Leo. It is a choice we make every day. And with you, I believe it is possible." Leo smiled back. He felt hope like never before. The galaxy was vast, full of stars and mysteries. But now, among those stars, there was a light, a human light, shining bright. And sometimes the smallest light can change everything.